Hi, and welcome to week 1 of Puppy Day School with Stevie. We're so excited to have her in our training program. So just a couple things that I want to go over. Week 1 is really about socialization, me sort of observing what she's like around the other puppies, her figuring out that all good things come when she's around me, and that's the skill that we want to transfer to all of you that are working with her on a regular basis. So what does that mean? It means that for a while, you should consider yourself kind of a training geek. You really want to have treats with you in places. If they're not on your person, then they should be, Jazz is going to make a cameo. If they're not on you, sitting there in a pocket or in a little pouch like this that you can have around your waist, they should be readily accessible, because our goal with a puppy is to be constantly rewarding behaviors we like. So for instance, this would be kind of a normal setup for me in the house. I like to have a little mat or a towel that I put out when I want the puppy to relax. And I would have a bunch of treats, and it could be even kibble, depending on how food motivated your puppy is. And I want to sit and do some work at my laptop, or I want to sit and watch some TV. So I want to constantly be rewarding. Chazzy, can you come over here? I want to constantly be doling out little pieces of food, so I am getting this puppy to understand there is so much value for them in hanging out in this location. So that's something you want to think about. How do we take some of these strategies that I'm working with every day with your puppy and start to implement them into your daily routine? So that basically would also entail, again, having accessibility to your treats at all times. Because you're going to miss way too many opportunities to be creating value and rewarding that puppy if you have to go seek out a treat out of a bag. And the other thing that I want you to really think about is that puppy training isn't about setting aside 5 minutes or 10 minutes a day and working on a sit or a down or a recall. Those are things that we're doing. But what we're trying to do with the puppy is we're trying to get them to understand that self-control in situations where they get really excitable is important, and how to get things that they really want. And the way that we're going to set that up is, let's say, hi, little girl, come here. Hi. Yes. Is that I'm going to continually, every time that this puppy gets excited, and she's tired right now, but if she really wants something, what is she going to offer me for that? Is she going to offer me, is she going to offer, hi, look what I got? Is she going to jump on me? Is she going to offer a sit? Hi. Boop, boop, boop. Yes, good. And every time she offers me a nice behavior, she gets multiple rewards for that. Important to also note that when I say multiple rewards, I'm talking about tiny little pieces of treats that puppy can put in their mouth and swallow without chewing. Really important, because we're going to go through a lot of stuff, and again, mixed in with their kibble throughout the day. Very good. Very good. So we focus mainly on week 1 with name game. Name game is not about teaching your puppy what their name is, although with a really young puppy, that is part of it. But it's about teaching your puppy, when I say your name, you stop what you're doing, you look at me, and you find out what I need. And there's immense, again, I'll use this term all the time, value in that for a dog. Because they hear their name so many times throughout the course of a day. And a lot of it is not necessarily, she's just coming in to drink a water, I think. And she can come out and visit. So a lot of the times when they hear their name, there's nothing necessarily good associated with it. It's Stevie, no, Stevie off, Stevie, don't do that. Kids are yelling their name all the time. Stevie. they tend to want to tune that out because it's just white noise. So what we need to do is work extra hard to make sure that when your puppy hears their name, that they are going to turn on a dime, look at you, and find out, give you attention and find out what you need. So we do that by starting with our food slightly behind our back or just kind of in a pocket in a neutral position. Don't get in the habit of holding treats out in front of you in this kind of position because your dogs learn to read your body language and they'll go, oh, does she have cookies? Well, if she's not standing like this, then I'm not sure. We don't want to get in that habit. So hands in kind of a neutral position, and you're going to get to see your puppy's name one time. So I'm going to wait till she looks away from me. Stevie! Yes. And when she gives me eye contact, I'm going to use the word yes, which is something we call a marker word, and I'll get to that description in a little bit, or you can read through that if I don't get to talk about it in this video segment. It's in your handbook. It'll describe why we use it and the importance of it. So again, waiting till the dog looks away. Stevie! Yes. And I want to make this as easy as possible in the beginning. A lot of times I'm even just going to sit in the chair next to her or sit on the ground next to her. Stevie! Okay, so that was really distracting because a little leaf had blown right when I said her name. So what I don't do is I don't repeat her name. Okay, I want to make sure that I say her name and I got the eye contact immediately without repeating that name. If I don't get the eye contact, I stop, I wait to figure out how to make it easier, and then I start over. So in this case, I'm going to sit down on the ground and I'm just going to wait for her to look away or do something else. Makes it infinitely more difficult when I've got little puppies around here. Stevie! Yes. Okay, so she kind of wandered around, but she eventually looked at me within a time frame that I find pretty acceptable in the beginning. It would need to be more instantaneous. Stevie! See ya. Yes. So another thing that we want to be cognizant about is not waiting for other behaviors to be combined with name game. Stevie! Okay, so again, super distracting. I'm going to get down here on the ground and practice this. So what I mean about working in other behaviors or waiting for other behaviors is I don't want to wait and combine this with, say, a sit or something like that. I really want this to be all about eye contact and name recognition. Name game is something that we work on all through this program. Usually by week 2, the dogs are pretty proficient without too much distraction, but we really work up to the point where they could be playing together, they could be running around in a yard, I say their name, they stop what they're doing, they look at me, they find out what I need. So name game is super important, so I want you guys to really focus on that over the weekend. We'll have one more behavior that we're gonna do in a separate segment, and we'll get to that in a little bit. Thanks. We've had an introduction to our name game. We're going to work on that a little bit more. And we have been working a little bit on hand targeting. Things to remember are when you are practicing something new, you need to work in the least distracting environment possible. So I moved inside to practice some of these skills today, and so we're going to take a look at what we can do when there's not a lot of environmental stimulus and see how Stevie does. So right now I'm just going to distract a little bit with a treat, and Stevie! Yes, waiting for that upward glance. This time what I'm going to do is I'm going to toss a treat and actually get her to get up. Ready? Go find it. Good girl. Keep my treats behind my back. And Stevie! Stevie! Yes. So I did repeat the cue. I want to be really cautious about how often I do that. I certainly don't want to be in a position where I'm, doing something like Stevie, Stevie, Stevie. But again, she's really new to this. Here you go. Go find that. Yes. Okay, good. So she walked in my direction. Now I'm going to work a little bit on that hand targeting. So we are working on, it's called the touch game. Touch, Yes. I'm gonna make this super easy. I'm gonna make sure that when I put my hand out, I'm gonna ask for touch, and I'm gonna put it out to the side so she's to move towards it at her nose level, and then I'm gonna deliver the treat right in front of that target hand. And I'll explain sort of why we're doing this in a minute. Ready? Touch? Yes. Okay, so she doesn't know to wait for the treat yet. Stevie, up, up. Touch? Yes. Up, 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 up. Hi, touch? Yes. Touch? Yes. Okay, just like all our other cues, I'm not repeating the word. If I put my hand out and I ask for touch and I don't get any movement towards it, or she is not interested, I'm gonna put it away. I'm gonna wait for a second, and then I'm gonna try it again. Okay, so I usually want to make some kind of noise, kissy noise, get her attention first before I offer that hand. So, pop, 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 pop. Hi, touch. Yes. So she's already engaged with me before I get that hand out there. Hi, puppers. Hi, touch. Yes, good girl. Very good. So why do we use touch? We start with name, game, and hand targeting as two of our foundation skills. And really what we utilize the hand targeting for is a way to refocus our dog and to get them to, a lot of times, do an alternate behavior from something that we wouldn't want them to be doing. So let's take the case of you're walking down the street and all of a sudden your dog sees another dog and they might be lunging, they're so excited to see that dog, maybe they start barking. It doesn't work well to say, no, don't do that. So what we do is we give them an alternate behavior and something else to think about. So I'm walking, my dog starts lunging out. Hey, pop, pop, pop. Hi, Stevie, touch. Yes, touch. Yes, and I can do multiple touches until we pass that distraction. Let's say a lot of times we're out playing during our social time, and dogs start getting wound up. They maybe start like barking at each other. A lot of times I'll walk up and I'll just start doing hand targeting with them. So again, what? Do you not want to stay here? That's too bad. That's too bad. Again, I'm giving them an alternate skill to focus on and get them to stop doing something that I don't really like. So that's just one useful way that we use hand targeting. Another thing is that it gets our dog closer to us. So maybe I'm out on a trail and I don't necessarily want to do a recall. I don't want to call my dog to come to me, but maybe I want them to refocus and get a little bit closer. I could put out my hand. I could ask them for a touch. Ready? Touch. Yes. Good. Touch. Good. Very nice. So that's an awesome practicing. Lots of good repetitions. We want to try to sprinkle stuff in throughout our day with our puppy. So, before breakfast, before we go out for a potty break or after a potty break, after crate time, we want to try to get 5 or 10 repetitions in of things all sprinkled throughout the day. I know. So she's had an awesome first week. I hope you guys have a great weekend practicing and enjoy watching some of the skills that she's learning. All right, we'll see you next week. Bye.